So what do we do now? We've gotten all the way through. We're going to come up to our save and we're going to click save the listing. Now, of course, obviously I haven't put in all the fields I need to. In fact, hardly put in anything. So that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and click save listing. And what it's going to do here is, because it knows I've missed a required field, it gives me a little box at the bottom here telling me a field that is a required field and it must have a value. Now, these may change when you go live because your board MLS committees can have it say something more specific than this, than what I'm showing you on this one here. So over here to the left, I can click on the modify button, click, and it takes me right to the field that I might have missed, because obviously you get busy when you're putting in a listing and it's easy to possibly miss a required field. So that's all there is to it. So what happens when you save your listing? Well, it's going to take all your data, make sure all your required fields are filled in as we just saw, and it's going to map the listing, and it's going to give it a brand new number. So it's going to change it from being a new listing here to a listing with your new MLS number and your address in here. And over here on the left in this work panel area, in this little column on the left, right now we're on the actual input a listing piece. And so we have to get that data in and get an MLS number before it's going to give us our pictures and our associated documents, those sort of tools. So what will happen when you click save, it does everything I just said, and then it gives you those other tools right here where my cursor is sitting and flashing, that will give you your pictures and your associated docs and a couple other things here too, open house and tour. So that will give you the next tools for inputting your pictures and associated documents, etc. Okay, now we're on our next step. We've saved a listing, and in order for me to actually do that and show you the next steps, I had to switch to MyParagon. It's a demonstration site that I get to use for training purposes. So I'm going to use it now, since your other site that we were on a minute ago is a test site and can't show some of the things I need to show you now in this webinar. All right, here we go. Over here on the left, now you see you have these additional tools that are in this work panel. And at the bottom, it actually even tells you the number of fields and the number of required fields and how many you have left to fill in case you might have missed something along the way. Now, like again, that was all turned on that we saw earlier in this webinar. So now what do? Over here to the top right, we have a next button. We click next. And it brings us down into the pictures section. And now you can see now we're in the pictures over here in the work panel. And in this case, MyParagon has to have a required field for the primary picture. That's okay. Don't worry about that. What yours will say will be just like this one. It says no image. And it'll tell you to double click on it, because obviously we just put in a new listing and so no pictures are there yet. That's what we're here to do. I just happen to have to show you this section of this uploading pictures that has a picture in it already. It's just okay. So what do? Well, we double click here to upload an image, and that's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to do that though, because most of you only need to do that on a specific individual picture basis that you might need to add to one of your listings. When you first save and input a new listing, all of these boxes will be blank. You're going to do an upload multiple photos. So that's what this says in this toolbar up here. Here's also where we'll save here in a little bit. There's a check all button we'll talk about here in a little bit too. I can delete a picture. And over the very far right, we can have a little upload help, and it'll show you information about how to and what to do and file size of pictures. Let's close that out. All right, so we're going to pretend then we have to upload our photos, all of them. So we're going to say upload multiple photos. Click on it. It gives me a browse box that allows me to go find my pictures and bring them into this box and tell Paragon these are the pictures. So we're going to come down to the lower left corner. There it is. Click on browse. And we're going to take it to our picture library where I already have my computer set to go. So I'm in my pictures library. Now you might need to go to a thumb drive or a memory stick, a CD, wherever it might need to be. You just use your browse from your computer and go find those pictures. I'm just going to use these, and I'm only going to use a few of these pictures just to give you the idea of how it works. So let's say I need to upload these 6 pictures right here. And so I'm going to bring my computer over here, excuse me, I'm going to bring my mouse over here, and I'm going to highlight by clicking and holding these 6 pictures. And of course, I have a lot of other pictures in here that I could have done, but again, for sake of time, we're just going to go with these 6. So they're highlighted. I click open, and so now those 6 are in my box here to be uploaded to Paragon for my listing. Now the picture at the top will end up being my primary photo if I didn't have one in my demonstration here, okay? But that would end up being your primary photo. And also over here you can see there's a little red box with an X that you can, delete a picture. Maybe you grabbed the wrong one. And if by chance one of the pictures was way too big in file size, and Paragon would give me a red border, dark border line around it. So if I had to go back in and resize that picture a little bit, bring it down a little bit in size, even though I can still do kind of a high resolution picture, but if I happen to have a 5 megabyte or a 10 megabyte or whatever picture is really big in format and file size, I need to delete it and resize it manually. Paragon will, resize up to a certain size of a photo and get it ready to go into place. If that's the case, that's why the red box is there. I can click on it and delete that picture, resize it, bring it back into Paragon later for my listing. All right, so we're going to say upload. We click upload, and now those pictures are going up into Paragon, and it's going to be associated to my listing, brings back to my computer, and now I have my pictures uploaded. Of course, I've only done a few here, but that's all right. What we do now, and these are actually saved right here now. They're actually saved. But what we can do here is this. If that first in the list file that I just talked about a minute ago and went to your primary and it wasn't the primary picture and it's like, oh, that shouldn't have been my primary, that's okay. Don't try to make it that list in such an order that you have to make that top on your primary. It doesn't matter, because just upload the photos like I just did. The photos are now on your screen, and let's just say that F should have been the primary. So I come down to F now, click on it and hold, and I'm going to drag and drop it and move it up into the primary spot. And then all the other pictures slide down. Even though they're still kind of out of order here, that's okay. I can change any pictures. Let's bring D over here. And so now we have E is up here in the top right. It just kind of switches places. So now we can say that's the order that I want them in. My real primary is now sitting here in the top left corner. Even though this still says primary here, we're going to change that just by clicking save. We click save. It's going to say, are you sure that's what you want to do? I do want to save those changes. Yep, okay. And so it's going to take those changes, redo my labeling here, and now you can see that I have primary is the actual one that I wanted it to be. Now labels, while we're talking about, adding pictures, let's do labels. We can click on add a label, and in here we see 2 options. There's a label and a description, and a label will have a list of labels similar to this one. Might not be exactly as what we're seeing here, but a list similar. You can choose one and say save, or we could just start typing in here and let's say front of house. I could now come into my description and type something about the listing picture. Don't make it really, really large. Just keep it short and sweet and simple, because remember, in a slideshow that your fellow members and other customers are going to be looking at your listing, and they want to read short and sweet, but I know you want to give them a lot, but keep it short and sweet so that they can read it and get the idea of what you're showing them and move to the next picture. All right, we'll say save. So now I have my pictures uploaded, and of course you're going to have more pictures that you can put up for your listings here. But that's how you're going to do pictures. If I did a single image, just double click on a picture cell that has no picture, say browse, and you'll do the exact same thing. Let's go find another picture here from another angle, double click on it. Now it's in, say upload. It takes that one picture, refreshes, there it is, it's auto saved, and we're good to go. And of course, if you do move it though, then we need to re-save our changes.